All right, so whenever you do come across this live, feel free, as always, anything it is that, whether it is that I posted or anyone else, take in a deep breath, connect with that inner source of yours to see what parts of the message may resonate. And again, that's just something I do actually use whenever I go on the internet. So take in that deep breath, connect with that inner source of yours to see what parts of this message may resonate today. Now, we will be getting into a collective tarot reading, but the intention of this live today is to keep going on in the conversation. Hello, Velvet. How are you? Velvet, we're actually talking, part of it is a little bit about beauty, but from a spiritual perspective. But today we're going to be talking about creating a soul-aligned reality. And I'm going to give you two different tips, which if you're on the Patreon, we talk about it there. In Boundless But Boundaries, our workshop, we talk about it there too. It runs a few times a year. But today we're going to go live on just two different tips that I want to share from the Boundless But Boundaries program on how to create a soul-aligned reality. All right, so taking a deep breath, connect with that inner source of yours. If you were just getting here, hello, Misty. I'm doing well. How are you? We're going to be talking today about creating a soul-aligned reality. So this is going to be a Soul Tribe chat. At the end of it, we do have a collective tarot reading, and it could be on creating your own reality. I am right now calling in all of the master magicians of this reality, all of the ancient souls, all of those ancient high priests and priestesses, the co-creators of the new earth. I am calling you in. So Boundless But Boundaries is all about creating a soul-aligned reality and just the truths of what it takes to do that. When it comes to like internet spirituality, online spirituality, I'm just going to say it that it's oversaturated at this point, where always follow your inner source. And again, like I said at the beginning of this live, I always pray that prayer. I connect to my inner source, always take what resonates, leave what doesn't for anything it is that you observe, that you witness, that you read, whatever it is. However, again, I wanted to come live today. We are going to be getting in a tarot reading at the end. If you'd like to do the $10 mini readings, feel free to leave it in the comments below. Say hello to your neighbor. I'm going to say hello to you. So I would love a hello from you in the comments below. But I did want to go over two different things we were talking about in the Boundless But Boundaries program. How do we create a soul-aligned reality? Feel free to put it in the comments below. What is a soul-aligned reality to you? What is soul alignment or soul destiny? That's something else we were talking about. Again, when it comes to the work it is that I do, separate from tarot, I am a tarot reader, but I do so much more. Like tarot is this much of what I do. And it's the only videos that I post here. So I know that's why people, associate me with being a tarot reader. But I'm a spiritual coach, a high priestess, a medicine woman. And the biggest thing it is that I do, or cosmic luxury, there you go. I get like a message from cosmic luxury. What I help people do and hold space for people. Yes, you can definitely do a $10 reading. Yes, and it's Let's Go Home. So it's the email Let's Go Home 7777. So it's 47s@gmail.com. If you send it to that, I definitely will get it, but I'll definitely let you know as well. And thank you for liking my necklaces. Soul reality. What is soul alignment? Again, this is a topic that I feel like we talk about so much online, and it is why I created Boundless But Boundaries. I have done it for myself and still doing it, right? Where we are, we can rise higher and higher. We are open to expanding more and more in love, in wisdom, in wealth, and all of these different ways. But I have shared my story where it starts off with me, single mom, a baby, in a hotel, nothing else. And it goes to where I am now and wherever it is that I'm going, right? However, again, the reason why I created the Boundless But Boundaries program and even share the things that I do, I feel like there's so much fake stuff online. And by that, I mean, it's not realistic of how to create your soul reality. It's not just your mind. When we come across the coaches that are just like, yeah, but you just have to think like a rich person. You just have to think like this, or you have to think like that. That's why people get so frustrated with those coaches or online spirituality in general, because that actually is not the way that it's going to work, or that does not work for most people. And I would say most people, right? Like say someone that you have a lot of tool support and resources. I don't want to use the word privilege, but you have a lot of tool support and resources. It's in soul contracts that this comes easily for you. Your astrology placements are just perfect where they are. Maybe a mindset of like, it's going to work for that person. When it comes to truly creating a soul-aligned reality or creating a new reality, there's multiple aspects, and any coach that's telling you it's in your mind, now they'll defend themselves saying that it's true, because that is true. The law of mentalism, right? Because that at the end of the day, you can have anything you want. You could have the tool, support, and resources. If you don't believe that you deserve it, if you don't believe it's yours or that it's attainable, doesn't matter how much you have or how much you don't have. But at the same time, especially again, for I would say 90% of people that these coaches try to attract in spirituality, more of like creating your own reality, becoming whatever, millionaire, all that kind of stuff. It's so much more than just your mindset, where if that's the only thing you got going on, you're still probably going to struggle. There's practical, there's spiritual things, etc. So I say all that to say, there's 2 different tips that I'm going to be giving today on creating a soul-aligned reality, but in a way that you'll actually get it manifesting. Again, I'm someone that I'm kind of becoming tired of seeing so much online, and I'm sure everybody else feels that way too, and whenever I'm sharing anything, it's always going to come from a genuine place, or I will never share anything I haven't tried myself or that hasn't worked for me. Where I will be the guinea pig to see what works, right? So there's 2 different tips that can really help in creating a soul-aligned reality. Does anyone know? There's only one God. There is monotheistic religions, but there's only one God. So if anyone wants to know what I believe, there's one God. Routine. Your daily routine. And I will say, as someone who has been like on here on tarot for 5 years, I've seen so many people, and I can say that this has been my own life at times too, where they're like, yeah, but no, I'm doing everything. I swear I'm doing everything. It's just not manifesting. I'm either blocked or being spiritually attacked, or the reading didn't work, or the session didn't work. It's routine. How are you living your daily life? The 2 things Spirit gave me to share today when it comes to creating a soul-aligned reality, so creating your heaven on earth. Pisces is in the North Node right now, and then we do have the South Node in Virgo. What is your routine? Does your daily routine reflect what you're trying to manifest, or does it reflect your past? So when we're trying to manifest or create a new reality, are we still living the same way that we used to? If we're living in the same way, we're still calling in energetically those things, where it's like, say, I don't know, you want to create a soul-aligned reality. Let's see. Yes. Isomeris. Ooh, Venus. I like that. I do have some Venus messages today too, so we're already just starting it early. I like your name. Yes, I'm going to write that down over here. So we're going to do a $10 mini reading for Isomeris, Miss Queen of Venus, Venusian Priestess. I'm going to write that down so that you're the first person it is that I read for. All right. But yeah, routines. Where does your daily routine reflect the life that you're trying to create or to manifest? Say, for example, I'm just going to give this because I hear it so much. I want to be a millionaire, or like I want, like a business that is very successful, or this or that. Where's the discipline in your daily life? And I'm just saying that because I've also been through all of those different things too, where for me, my North Node is also Virgo Velvet, and my South Node is also actually Pisces, where... Again, like say you want that success, with success comes a form of discipline. And so then, for me, like that's what I did, where I'm like, I want to be successful, but I realized, oh, wow. And this was maybe say 6 years ago. I don't have a lot of discipline. I thought I was disciplined, but my discipline was like listening to my boss at the 9 to 5 back then, where I was like a waitress and bartender I go to work. I wake up for work. I'm on time. I'm disciplined. No, it goes like deeper than that, right? Where I wasn't maybe eating great 10 years ago. The discipline is what we're putting into our bodies. Are we eating and drinking the things that are in alignment with our routine, with our soul reality, our soul destiny, right? There's this reality, heaven on earth, that we want to manifest. Like say, for example, you're manifesting health and wealth, like being mindful of what you are consuming to prepare for that reality. That reality is not going to come in unless we're somehow emitting that frequency 144 as I say that, and so little by little that you can, creating the daily routine for that life, and maybe, you want some form of success, which I'm also a believer that it's not just outward success. A success is a soul aligned reality. And so someone that has everything that they need, is successful within and without, and that's just what it is. But routine, right? Maybe it's waking up earlier. You wake up at 10 a.m. every day. You stay up till 2 a.m. playing video games, right? Like, just give this example. Yeah, but if you want to own the business that you're thinking of for that success that's in alignment with soul purpose and soul mission, that business is going to be opening at 7 a.m. every morning. And so start practicing now, waking up at 5 a.m. to prepare for that life that we're manifesting, that we're dreaming of and building. And so that's what I mean by live the routine of your dream life, of your heaven on earth, or of your soul aligned reality. And it's like a practice, right? It's like, well, this is, and again, like, is it delusional if you make it happen though, where you need a little bit of sprinkle delusion, and in Pisces energy where it's not delusional, but it's more of, there are these dreams or dreamy energies that I can't explain, aren't here right now, but I know it's going to manifest. And so you need a little bit of that delusion, where it's like, I'm going to live that, I'm going to start living that timeline now. And maybe it won't happen overnight and maybe it will, but I'm going to do a little thing every day to align to that timeline. And so I'm going to start waking up at 5 a.m. because right now I wake up at 11 a.m. and I'm well rested, but my higher timeline is like, I have my own business and it opens at 8 a.m., and so it's practicing for that. I don't know why I'm seeing Red Bull. Is anyone watching me that drink? I used to drink a lot of Red Bull. I used to drink a lot of Red Bull a few times out of the day. I go before, like, I used to be a bartender and server. I would go before a shift, bang it out and do very well and running around and stuff like that. But I was drinking a Red Bull before going in, and so I don't know why I'm seeing that. Maybe some of you do, but like things like that, which again, none of that is bad. I don't think anything is bad. Everything moderation. I don't drink Red Bull anymore, but coffee I do. Would you like to have your breakfast at Taco Bell? Taco Bell might have a health menu. If it wasn't bad, I actually would. Like if it was some good food, like good quality thing, I would. Would you like to have your breakfast at Taco Bell? I like that question. Routine, where like, say for example, maybe even you eat out a lot, right? It's like kind of shifting that a little bit where it's like, oh, cutting it down to only this or only that. But paying attention to your routine, right? Like say you're manifesting the love of your life, that twin flame or higher level soulmate. Like you want that lover to come in and you're deciding, I want that lover to come in. Maybe it's like paying attention, which the second thing is the self-care of that timeline, which this kind of like goes naturally into it, but you start kind of like taking care of yourself a little. They should love, regardless, but, animal kingdom where, how like the peacock, puts his feathers out and things like that. There's a little bit of that we do still do in this realm, where it's like hygiene is attractive, this or that. And so again, routine, but right, routine, what discipline? And I like that word better. What discipline does it take to actually live and manifest your soul reality? Start applying that discipline before it comes in, before you see any penny of that higher reality, before you get the lover, before you're able to start sharing your soul gifts with the world. Live the discipline that life takes, and then watch that life start to manifest for you. Hello, Adonai. Oh, I love that name. Yeah, we're going over a little bit of what we talk about in the Boundless But Boundaries program and in the Patreon. And I was going to give I was led to give these two different tips today of the real truth. You know, there's like the, hey, I'm a millionaire coach and just like change your mind and then you can have heaven on earth. And it just doesn't work. I was going to say like it doesn't work anymore, but I don't think it ever worked. You know, I'm someone that's pretty balanced, you know, where I'm not like, you know, full on of like, you should not have like anything at all, you know, but balance I think is key. And, you know, I do see energetically and in the collective, and then even me myself, where I cannot tolerate certain things that I like see anymore. And that's why it's just always important for us to just be mindful of what we consume, right? But like the millionaire coaches that are just like, yeah, change your mindset and I'll help you create a heaven on earth and make $10,000 a month. It's just so much more than that, you know? And I share the things again that I share because honestly, you can do that. You can. I don't care where you start, where you came from, the bottom ground up, you can do it and you can live your highest timeline. But the weird spiritual marketing ways it is and it's being marketed is just not necessarily true. You know, spiritual marketing, there has to be some sort of, I guess, I don't know, whatever, marketing. I always made a joke, and this was maybe 5 years ago. I said, my marketing is soul alignment and my marketing is my authenticity, which it's okay to have like maybe like a little bit of like putting things together and things like that, making things clear to let people know what you're doing. But what does that serve? You know, like say, for example, a millionaire coach, you can have your heaven on earth, just change your mindset. I'm going to go deep into this, where what that does is it makes people think of just like, well, something, I just have to change my mindset and then that's going to save me, right? And I think all healers are coming out of the savior mentality where it doesn't matter who you go to, a guru of 50 years, nobody can save you. But that $1 million coach is not going to make you $1 million by guilt tripping you, you know, into like, well, I should be making more money. I should be thinking differently. The reason why maybe wealth or love or this or that hasn't come in, it's not your mind, actually. It's probably, say, the root chakra, right? There's a root chakra issue of why we can't hold on to the manifestations. There can be a fear of receiving where anyone can tell you, and I see this all the time in like coaching sessions and one-on-one sessions where, yes, you do want that reality, but on the inside, there's still a hard time of receiving. Where you want it, you ask for it, and you have a hard time receiving what you actually asked for, which I think is also so valid too, because so many of us have those blockages, right? And so there's always just so much more than changing your mindset, but they're always going to be right because the law of mentalism, it only can happen through the mind. Thank you for the flower, Ashley. I send you flowers and flowers back. Where's my flowers? Did I have some flowers over there? I may have brought them out over there. I had a lot of flowers for like 2 weeks. At the end of school, I ended off Scorpio season with like bouquets of flowers. So flowers to you, to all of you. But yeah, the routine, the discipline, right? And that's what they're not going to tell you, where have the discipline. Yes, change your mind, do the healing. Live that routine and live that discipline. Treat yourself as if it's being handed to you right now, so that when you receive it, you won't fumble it or lose it, because that's oftentimes actually what's blocking us. And I'm not going to go too deep into this, but I think of Ajay, right? And in Africa, Ajay is the Orisha. And again, I'm not going to go like too deep into it or anything. Ajay is the Orisha of money, right? Benevolent provider of all human needs. And they say, right, that sometimes she won't come to you until you learn how to know what to do with it. That sometimes it's not that you're doing anything wrong. It's just that, well, I can see that if I gave it to you, it would go that way in a split second. You know, of like, say, for example, you know, like wisdom. There's certain, when we're manifesting, say, again, a new reality, praying for the wisdom, and that's something that I will admit that I do. I pray for the wisdom, or I pray for wisdom, where I said, you know, God, I don't know this is way beyond me. I'm praying for the wisdom, the teachers, the mentors to handle this so that I can maintain and multiply this. Send me the wisdom so that I don't lose this, because I think a lot of us can resonate. I even resonate with, like, say, manifesting things. And then it's like, oh, I only had it for 2 weeks, or I got this big blessing and then this happened and then that happened. Whenever that happens, that's a root chakra issue. So if you can manifest, but then you lose it, go to the root chakra. It's always going to be the root chakra. I have chills as I say that. Where, like, I've shared my stories of homelessness, and that's even, like, my YouTube went viral after I had just moved in from a big house fire that I lost everything. And again, I used to be a bartender server. Put the cash, like, underneath the bed. I lost all of that. I didn't put it, like, again, the wisdom. I should have known better, right? And all those different things. However, like, say, for example, at one point in my life, I was moving around a lot. I've been in this particular home for now, next summer will be 3 years, I believe. So it's 2.5 years, but again, for anyone who's watched me beyond even this one YouTube channel, from when I first had my son, now almost 7 years ago, just about 7 years ago or so, 3 years, it's a big shift. It's a big difference from, like, what my life used to be, which was much more chaotic, much more, like, things happening unexpected, and things just happen. They don't just happen. It's our root chakra that's attracting it, and for me, it was my root chakra attracting chaos, where we're wanting a new reality. Can we identify the subconscious and unconscious parts of us that are used to the chaos? And so, we want a new reality, a higher reality, but we're used to things quickly changing. And that's one thing of maintaining, like, say, this apartment for 2.5 years, that actually came to me too, where there was always the fear of, like, oh, but we're going to have to get everything together. I need a moving truck and this and that. It took me feeling safe of, like, no, it's like, this is your house. It's not going anywhere, and that's also just something for us all to adopt and to maintain in our mindset when we do get that reality shift, right? This reality is not going anywhere. The old stories of, like, you get it, but then this happens, a karmic cycle. No, like, this reality truly is here. It's not going anywhere. And so much, and I'll just add then a third one, feeling safe, right? Our bodies feeling safe. Venus just went to Sagittarius as I said that. Okay, for some of you, feeling safe to love, safe to receive. I just got a message from Astro Matrix. Venus is in Sagittarius, love that. Feeling safe. Do we feel safe enough to receive that, right? The love, the wealth, the support, the house. So, like, for me, my first year of living here, I always had a fear that, like, I was going to have to pack up and move, like I always had to. Like, this, and that. That was my body still purging that out. Our bodies hold on to memory, from our past or this or that. And so we talk so much about wanting a new or higher or soul reality. Do we feel safe to accept that we deserve it, that it's our birthright, and that it's ours? Again, like, the body catches up, right? So, like, say in relationships, a lot of us are Pisces, and everyone has Pisces in the chart, but say betrayal, right? We're wanting the love, but then the love comes in, and then we're looking for every little sign. False evidence appearing real. We're looking for every little sign of, like, oh, that person's doing this and they're going to betray me, and you're going to find what you're looking for. Like that quote, you will find what you're looking for. I'll give this one example where it actually wasn't me. It was the other person that I was getting to know, of, like, dating. And I didn't answer for, like, 4 hours, and they said, have a nice life, kind of thing. They were like, okay, it's fine, just have a nice life. I'm just like, I was in an Akashic record session, and that took 2 hours. And then I went to take a shower. And then I was trying to think of a response to you, which I was so excited to give while I was just cooking dinner. And then I thought of the perfect response, which that could also just be my Virgo finding, like, the right response. There's no right response, but I didn't deserve that. Have a nice life. I wasn't doing anything, and many of us maybe would say all the different attachment styles, of, oh, that person's not answering me. They must be doing something. No, actually, like, in maybe a healthy relationship, things are happening. They're busy. They're this or that. You manifest the things it is that you need for your soul reality. Say like you manifest the soul tribe, the friends, the collaborators. I'm so scared that they're going to betray me or this or that. That's your body remembering what happened in the past. That's not going to happen in your new reality. So it's like so much compassion too, like with self, of even when you get the new reality, honor the fact that like, we're probably going to be even healing though too, where the body is like looking for the old and the body's trying to respond to the old, but we can just sit here of like, no, it's actually safe to live this, to be with this person, to receive, say, wealth and prosperity, right? A big thing for light workers and for everyone is releasing shame and guilt of having more wealth in the world. I always use this as excuse. There's not excuse, but example, maybe excuse for Pepsi. Like say the brand Pepsi. I'm not saying that Pepsi's bad. It's just that it's like, is there any health benefits? I don't know, and so, or like say, I don't know. Well, Red Bull gives you energy. Pepsi, it's just, I don't know. But if Pepsi, right, can have their brand, and or like say, I don't know, I'm trying to think of things that have like lead and this and that. Like it's just clearly like no good at all. Like there's not even anything you could say other than it tastes good. Almost like candy, Pepsi. They have no shame, no guilt of the consumers, right? All these people are buying and buying, and they know that Pepsi does not improve your health at all. It just gives you a temporary boost of, what is it, serotonin or something like that? Joy, whatever, pleasure. They have no guilt and shame about receiving money. And Pepsi's a maybe multi-billion-dollar company. No hate to Pepsi. I'm so sorry. I love you. I'm sorry. But as a light worker, and that's why it's important to like shift our mindset. We're not perfect, but you are giving your highest of what you can. You are bringing light into the world. You are this, you are that. You have something that can benefit someone in some way, shape, or form. And it really is up to the person to choose if they benefit or not. Because you could give a bowl of vegetables and you could give wisdom and all that. And sometimes people just still don't use that, right? And that's maybe where the discipline comes in, but if there's no guilt or shame for Pepsi in having $1 billion company that product gives you no health value at all, you're not a perfect person. We're not perfect people, but you do bring light to this world. You do hold a value. And again, you may not be perfect. You may still be working on things. You may even still be learning and mastering your gifts. You have something to bring to someone in that Reiki session, in that tarot reading. And I promise you, no matter what you're doing, you probably bring someone more benefit than a can of Pepsi, and that's the best example I can give of removing the shame and guilt of, no, it's okay for your body to receive wealth, prosperity. A law of money is it actually doesn't go to like what's good or this or that. It goes to who's open to it, which is why Pepsi say $1 billion company or this or that. So light workers of removing the shame and guilt from our bodies and the fear of like holding on to say wealth and prosperity. You are a steward of new earth wealth. And that was in the reading today for Pisces. Now we'll get to the last one because then we're going to be getting into the reading over here. We're going to do a collective reading and we're going to be doing a reading for Isomera's Venus. If anyone would like a mini tarot reading, feel free to send to Cash App Goddess Energy 444. Ask if I have any of the other methods as well. There was a notification here. There we go. Self-care of that timeline. Beauty was coming through as, and I'll show this too, of like a manifestation that I received, that it's not a big one, like it's not like a crazy big manifestation or anything, but it's something that like on a soul level, it just felt aligned. And this was 8 months to a year ago where I said, and this was like a channel actually through Hades too. I'm going to get some sort of partnership with Fenty. I'm going to get it. And again, it actually wasn't a place from ego. I connect with Diamond Light, for those of you who've watched my journey, the Oshun energy, that's my guardian angel, my crown, and if you watched me for 5 years, I've had this on for a long time, way before everything else, so it's always been there. But Fenty, I was like, no, Fenty's a Pisces, Rihanna's a Pisces soul sister of ours, so just shout out to Rihanna. But I was like, no, I'm gonna get some sort of something with Fenty. And I did. where we have an affiliate marketing campaign running through the YouTube partnership program. You could look under any video and you could purchase from Fenty under any of my videos up until January 1st. And that has to do with like the beauty and self-care part of things though. But again, like, right, my mind agreed on that and was like, no, that is my reality. I don't know why I see that. And it doesn't make sense to me. I don't know how they're going to find me, and it did end up happening, you know? So just again, like keeping that in your mind and then living your life aligned to whatever that's unseen and that's unmanifested, living your life to align to that. The self-care of that timeline, there was this energy, like this message of beauty coming through, which is just so funny. The first mini reading is Venus. So just shout out to you, Venus. We're going to be doing your reading in a moment. Self-care of that timeline. And now when we speak of beauty though, I will always say beauty is within first, always. It always starts from within. And now it doesn't always have to be like the no makeup and this and that. It's everything. Like I find my whole chart is ruled. All my Pisces placements are in the house of Venus. And so I just find everything and everyone beautiful, and it's absolutely sickening. Like truly, I find everything. You could walk around with like spiky purple hair, with makeup, with no makeup, and like overgrown hair all over. And I find all of it beautiful. In a disgusting, beautiful way. Like it's just disgusting. Like again, my Pisces is in the house of Venus and my Venus is in Pisces. Everything is beautiful to the point where like it just doesn't make sense. But the self-care of that time, of that timeline. And by that, I'm not necessarily talking about Fenty, you know, where like for some people, they're more into that. That's cool. Say you're meant to be a medicine man or woman, you know, and you're only working with like, say, the natural, organic, and nature. The self-care is like, you know, just showing up, right? Being clean in whatever way resonates with you, maybe organized to a certain way. And it's going to look different for everyone. Beauty looks different on everyone. Some people are Virgo organized, and some people are naturally a little bit more unorganized. And I will still say those people have to, you know, we'll teach Virgos a lesson where not everything has to be organized. And if you're very unorganized, you're blocking your blessings, you know, where there's the balance of the two. So I just always see things from that perspective of what is your unique self-care, you know, as a medicine man or woman. Your self-care is also going to be what you put into your body, right? And so maybe chemicals, you know, the things it is that you're eating. It's not maybe going to be self-care in the form of like Fenty. You probably want nothing to do with that, you know, but what is your level of self-care, you know, where, you know, I've seen sometimes people that like, you know, it's, how do I word this? Because it's not always like messy. You know, I don't agree with the patriarchal always version of beauty at all whatsoever. You know, and then there's sometimes that serves. So we're just always in the middle and balanced. But what's the self-care of that timeline? You know, so say, for example, you maybe are wanting to be a business owner, right? Maybe I'll say like brushing, like simple things like brushing your teeth, smell, things like that, which again, there's phermo, I honor all of that. You know, I've been on the medicine path. I wear makeup and stuff like that, but I've been to over 50 ceremonies. Those eyelashes, they get purged and puked off and all of that. So I understand both sides, you know. Yes, gang, John Mike 38. So self-care is going to look different for everyone. But say, for example, you're wanting to be a business owner, like you want to share your soul gifts. And say you want a Reiki office, like just say you want to have like a crystal shop where you do Reiki and all that there. It probably is like the self-care of maybe you're not used to being around people. It's usually just you and God in the house. It's like, you know, brushing up like just a little bit more, you know, like clean cut and whatever resonates with you. Because again, beauty does not always have to be the way that we think it is, because that's not always beautiful. And then it doesn't always have to be if you have to strip off all your stuff and this, and it doesn't always have to be that way either. That's not everyone's timeline. You know, that's the one thing too about spirituality and create your own reality. Not everybody is going to be a Reiki practitioner or medicine man or woman. or even a tarot reader. There will be people that are nurses that bring their light and their wisdom and knowledge as like the hidden high priest or priestess of that hospital, of that store, you know, of this or of that, where it's going to be a balance. But you know, you don't always have to like create your soul reality and leave your 9 to 5. You know, sometimes the 9 to 5, it is aligned, but the people around you, right? Your environment, the way you're living, or this or that. And so what's another way to attract that soul aligned reality, to attract everything, everyone in alignment with that soul aligned reality, the self-care of that timeline, right? I'll even give I was talking with a soul brother earlier. I was a tomboy, okay? Like I played on the boys basketball team tomboy, okay? Like 3-on-3 street ball. And so if you saw me maybe 10 years ago, I was a little bit less feminine, where I'm just going out however I want to. Just like I'm pinning my hair up. I have basketball shorts and a sports bra, and I'm going out like that, you know, or this or that. You know, like I'm just thinking of all those different things. Self-care, it matters to a certain extent, and it's not about what it looks like, but it's more of the care and love you give to yourself, which again is going to be different for everyone. So maybe it's that face mask, you know, that natural face mask. You know, maybe you wear your hair all natural once a week, getting in that mask. You know, men, I'm seeing beards. I see beards and beard oil, you know, where say you have a beard, you know, and say you're wanting to like bring people to your ceremonies, say your business, whatever it is. Maybe it's like, oh, I've had like a scruffy long just beard that I don't really pay attention to. Maybe once a month I do. But I'm going to start paying a little bit more attention to that. And maybe, you know, it's like having your own beard oil that you make, or this or that. It's just things like the little things that do matter to a certain extent, you know. And I will say, like, cleanliness to, again, a certain extent is energy, right? It keeps your energetic field open and clear. Where again, I will say to a certain extent, because if you go too much of like everything has to be perfect and then this and that, and a shaman will come in and they'll take a freaking, I don't know, shot of ayahuasca, and all those ideas are going to be on the floor, and it's not going to be perfect because you're going to be purging it all up. So I always say with a grain of salt, where self-care, it depends on your path, on what that looks like for you. And that's mostly just keeping your energy clean. And you can see that physically, you know, where I have seen people where, you know, I'll mention maybe this one healer that, again, it's nothing bad. And this was like years ago, but when I could barely breathe, like, you know, and just the condition of like what it was, where it was not only that, it was a haunted house. And then like it's very, very dirty. And I have some Virgo placement, but I'll tell you right now, I'm not a Virgo. But even me, where I was just like, oh my gosh, like you are the energy you attract. And so again, self-care, when I mention that, I'm not always talking about Fenty. For some of you, maybe it's a little bit of Fenty, you know, whatever, but it's keeping your energy clean, and it's just coming, it's in a way that people can see it. So whatever self-care means for you, because it's going to be different for everyone. So routine, right? The routine, which we'll just use the word discipline. How do we actually create a soul-aligned reality? And not talking about it in a way of like, oh, millionaire coach, change your mindset, you can do it. Okay, now go do it. And then it doesn't happen. And then we're wondering of like, what's wrong with me? Or what's wrong with that coach? It's so much more than that. The law of mentalism, they're right. They are right. Because at the end of the day, if it's not in the mind, it's not going to happen. However, and I don't want to use the words what they're not right about, but what they can add is that if you're just using your mind and ignoring everything else in your current reality, you still won't get that new reality or soul-aligned reality, you know. And so it's the discipline, which is a form of self-love. I used to not like Saturn. Does anyone like Saturn here, or used to not like Saturn, or doesn't right now? I have a lot of Pisces in my chart. I used to not like Saturn. You mean to tell me things have to be in a line and linear? At what? I'm a Pisces stellium and a 12th house stellium. And so I also share it because, like, if I could surrender to it, almost anybody can. But I'm not a fan of discipline at all, so I'm not someone who's like from a Virgo or Capricorn talking like this. I can't stand discipline. I can't stand it at all, or routines. And from someone who can't stand it, that is the only way to actually create a soul-aligned reality, is to have the routine or the discipline. Where once I started working with Saturn started working with me. My Saturn return, way better than the other Saturn transits. And most of the time, people get a Saturn return and they get dragged. Saturn has blessed me for my Saturn return because I was already working with Saturn before my Saturn return came. I was already aware of Saturn. And I was like, oh, let me pay attention now. I do not want to be dragged by you, Saturn. Because Saturn's telling the truth. But so yeah, routine and discipline, where it's a form of self-love, and I had to shift my perspective as a Pisces and 12th house stellium. So that's a lot of Pisces, almost straight down. That discipline and routine, it is a form of self-love. If we love ourselves, if I love myself, I set a schedule. And I do have do I have this here? So I do have I buy these things where I'll get a random date, December 16th, whatever's happening then for you. I have bought this for the past 3 years, where I do an hourly calendar, and again, I share my journey and story that I am a single mom, my son is on the spectrum, a lot of autism, a lot of ADHD symptoms, which we know, again, new earth parents, we know the truth beyond all of what the medical system says. Well, it's not easy for me. But that's why I needed discipline and routines, because my life did not come easy. And at first, it took a whole year of victimness of woe is me, my life doesn't come easy. Woe is me. And I'm my only savior, and so I've got to do something about it. It was routine and discipline that made my life easier. From having a hard life, discipline and routine is what actually helped manifest the things that would make my life easier. And it feels hard, especially for a Pisces. And I think anyone with, very spiritual, gypsy-like, again, I have Pisces and 12th house stellium that, routine and discipline, that sounds like work to me. What is actually more work is not being aligned. You end up working harder. And that's what I realized, Someone said my 3-year-old daughter seems to be on the spectrum too, but where my son just got diagnosed with autism, where everyone in his life and all of his doctors, all of his teachers, it's been a big thing. And I have shared that a little bit more in email newsletter. This year was my motherhood year, where I did say in the beginning of the year I would slow down. And I will say the womb slowed me down. Children are our best surrenders. And a focus for me was motherhood. And being present for my child, which is the mission. That is part of the whole mission. But again, with that, right, where I felt like my life was difficult, it was hard. My life doesn't come easy. It's not necessarily privileged. So how do I actually create a new reality? I'm going to need some routine and discipline. And so what I did was I started to get an hourly calendars, and I would plan my day. And again, this doesn't sound so spiritual, right? Because we got to surrender. And I will say it changes all the time, especially with my little one, that he is all Aries and he is Uranus energy, changes all the time. But it has really helped, where the night before I write down things I'm going to do, the most important things. And as someone, again, Pisces, 12th house stellium, maybe ADHD or neurodivergent, I miss the little details all the time, or I used to. And so this is what helped me. Again, call in those things that were truly in soul alignment, was today's top 3 things to do, notes, the things you have to do today, today's schedule, gratitude, I would do those things. And it would actually help, though, again, where I like to free flow, but the truth is free flow doesn't always bring in exactly what it is that you need. We need a balance of the two, whatever works for you, so that's one thing that had really helped me too. Now I do have this mantra before we do the readings that I have shared before, but Om Gurukule Hri Svaha. It's the Gurukula mantra. She is the diva of like the Buddhist goddesses. However, when you say that mantra, it calls in what's soul aligned. Gurukula, like she's kind of like a diva, and like they call her the pop star of the Tibetan Buddhist goddesses. And she appears as all red, but to symbolize her magnetism. And so you can magnetize what is yours, but it's going to come in soul aligned. So the mantra, Om Gurukule Hri Svaha. You can use that mantra to call in all of those things, and it's only going to come in with soul aligned. So no shame, no guilt of what it is that you receive. But I wanted to share those two, and really turned into three tips that we were talking a little bit about in the Boundless But Boundaries program. We do it twice a year. It's going to be an online course. Feel free to go join the Patreon. But we were talking about that, and it was just so good. I wanted to go live and share just some of that too to our soul tribe of like, hey, do we want a soul aligned reality, and you're sick and tired of the freaking internet online spirituality bull crap of how to create your own reality? Of like, and it's not always the millionaire coaches, but I'm going to say what I said at the beginning of this message of always take what resonates, leave what doesn't. And when I do that prayer of connect with your inner source, I do that too. So that before you go online, before you listen to anyone or anything, connect to your higher self to filter what's yours and what isn't. But that's what I have for you. I hope that resonates. Feel free to put all of your questions, comments, even, expanding the conversation in the comments below. When you go to the comments over here, Jesus loves you. I love Jesus too. Yes, as a Pisces, routine keeps me, yes. And that's how I felt as a Pisces and feel like to this day that I can dream 24/7. Do not take me out of my reality 24/7. I could easily swim by myself for the rest of my life and be happy. But we can't always do that, right? Where that's our strength. And that's where maybe other signs, other than Pisces, can be like a weakness. But a strength of ours can also be a weakness. And that's something I learned too. And as someone with lots of Pisces, I started 3 years ago working with my Virgo energy and my Virgo placements, that if I'm strong in the Pisces, that's great, but I'm still weak somewhere else. Else life could disappear. I couldn't be bothered. Same, the music angel, same. But then we understand that routine, discipline, like that structure, that foundation of our daily life, whether it be spiritual or daily practical routine, it brings in everything we need, especially that Pisces North Node. Pisces, you kind of already got it down pat. The Pisces North Node is revealing to everyone, hey, that prayer in the morning, it does make a difference. That meditation, it does make a difference. You cleansing and clearing after sessions, after work or after, say once a week, it actually makes a difference in your life. I'm going to go to the comments here, and then we're going to go to the mini reading for Isomeris Venus. We're going to start off with this mini reading, and then we're going to get into a collective reading. So Isomeris, Miss Venus Queen, feel free to put your question in the comments below. We're going to get in a mini reading, and then we're going to do a collective tarot reading. All right. But yeah, I will say, as someone who's online, and I've even thought of it like, what's the best way to authentically express creating a soul-aligned reality? I don't think of like, I'm a millionaire coach and you should have this mindset, and you just call it in and then it happens. That doesn't always serve. I will say, like I have done those stories of my last dime went to that, and it did give me an ROI, return of investment, where I want to steer away from saying of just like risk it all and this and that. And, I will say I have risked it all at times, and it has worked out for me, but I'm not putting that message out there that I can it always work out for everyone. I'm just someone who I'm determined. It's gonna work out. And so even when I do say risk a lot, it does work out for me, but that's because I know it's gonna work out. There is no doubt. I just risked it, so it's gonna happen. But not everyone has that mindset, where say like a spiritual coach, right? Saying of like, well, just risk it all. It's worth it. You're investing. If that person isn't quite ready though to actually apply the work, they really can risk it all, and so it's a balance of the two. And just follow your intuition and discernment, where it has worked out for me, where sometimes it's just like, whoa, that like is like almost your last dime kind of thing. Are you sure? And it does work out, but use your discernment of when and where to do that, and also just know that you don't necessarily have to risk it all to create a soul-aligned reality. I think, and I was going to say I think, but then I'm thinking of the transit of next year, February 2026, Saturn and Neptune, baby. Saturn, oh, that's why we're doing this live. I'm going to switch to the microphone. That is why we're doing this live. Want to know why? Because Neptune and Saturn are going together. February 2020, 0 degrees Aries. Dreams become a reality to the point that it does not make sense. And that's what's going to happen next year. February 2026, Neptune, Aries, 0 degrees, and the sign of Aries, like I said. Dreams are realer than reality. However, it's not to say that you don't have the discipline and the tools. If you're doing the work, light workers, 144,000 chosen ones, Pisces of next year, especially with that Neptune placement, you will have a soul-aligned reality. And this is not, millionaire dollar, coach of just like, you're going to get this and like feeding a delusion. Next year is Saturn and Neptune have an alignment, and it's going to be at 0 degrees in Aries come February, right before the new year. Isn't that interesting? Before Aries season, and right as Saturn goes into Aries, especially Pisces, tap into that energy, where Pisces, you're going to be going from delusional to like, wait a second, how does Pisces energy do that? So that's just also for the Pisces collective out there. But to anyone, there are ways that we truly can make our dreams happen. Miracle frequency, not from like a delusional place, but miracle frequency, I work for it and I make it happen. Or it's more of I align to this frequency, and I receive it from known and unknown sources. And so Neptune is Pisces energy. Saturn is that routine and discipline, the restrictions. If we're working with Saturn, your dreams can come true, or you can manifest, but you have to work with Saturn. And in February 2026, for those of you that are already, like, say, doing the work, doing your alignment, what you need to do, that placement's going to bless you. Bless you. Like, you're going to have your heaven on earth next year, the year of 10, which is a brand new cycle. And heaven's a consciousness. We're in heaven right here, right now. Soul-aligned reality, maybe. But, for those who kind of like fear and avoid Saturn, that Saturn placement's going to say, like, hey, without me, those dreams are not coming true, or like the soul-aligned reality. Saturn feels restrictive, but those restrictions actually help us in some way, shape, or forms, or show us where we are blocked and stopped. Elijah, when I changed my understanding of Saturn, I grew to like it. Me too. Hello to South Africa. Wiccan Babe 1986. That's my path. I'm going to school to be an LPN. Yes, and that's a way to help others. In such patriarchal industries, we do need, and I say patriarchal because like the medical system doesn't serve everybody. That's what I mean, like the patriarchal medical system. We need the light in every industry, and so not everyone is like leaving your 9 to 5 and doing this and whatever, becoming a medicine man or woman or Reiki or tarot. Like our soul aligned reality, it's going to be different for everyone, and everything is spiritual. Yes, we are coming to a more natural, holistic, organic sense of being, but sometimes I see in the spiritual community where it's just like, oh, they work there, they're not spiritual, or they wear this, they're not spiritual. Actually, actually know, like, there's a lot of undercover high priests and priestesses in these industries, you know, or this or that. So I'm going to keep reading the comments, and then I'm going to go check the question of Isomeris, our Venus Queen. EW White, I'm sending you so much love. Pisces as well. Lots of Pisces. I love it. Reading the comments here. We're going to be doing the mini reading for our Venus Queen, and then we are going to get in a collective tarot reading. I'm going to send you on your way. Love it, Venus Queen. All right, what is the highest outcome for me in the next 6 months? I like the way you worded that. I'm going to grab an oracle, and we'll grab some tarot cards for Isomeris Venus. For Isomeris Venus, the Venus Queen. I have so much Venus stuff here today. What I didn't say was I lit a Venus incense today, and this is new. So I have never actually had those incense. What do we have for Isomeris, the Venus Queen today? What do we have for Isomeris today? Divine Mother, Divine Father, Holy Spirit of Light, Holy Spirit of God. And, you know, I'm already feeling Venus. You sent it with the name Venus. If you haven't tapped into your spirit guides that are Venusian dragons, I'm just seeing them. As I say your name, Isomeris, I'm seeing Venusian dragons. And so, again, if it just is not like a lineage or spirit guides that you've connected to, the Venusian dragons are with you. What do we have for Isomeris Venus? What do we have for Isomeris Venus? Holy Spirit of Light, Holy Spirit of God, Ascended Masters, Teachers, and Loved Ones. What do we have for Isomeris Venus on what is the highest outcome for her in the next 6 months? What is the highest possible outcome for Isomeris in the next 6 months? What is the highest possible outcome for Isomeris in the next 6 months? I will say I can't see exactly what it is yet. I see that some issue or problem, something that presented itself this eclipse season, which 6 months would bring you to the end of next eclipse season, it's going to be completely purged out. Like something is solved by next eclipse season. What do we have for Isomeris Venus on what is the highest possible outcome for the next 6 months? What is the highest possible outcome for Isomeris Venus in the next 6 months? I love it where Spirit is saying of like, oh, you know, things can, there's a little bit of unknown here where things can, there's, you know, it's just still factors. Like factors, you know, like when we say have children or partners, those are all factors, right? Where we plan certain things and then we have our jobs, the people that we work with, right? And so we have different factors that can change different things, right? So we do have the unknown where there are multiple paths or roads that can present themselves for you in the next 6 months. I'm going to do this card as well, and then we'll get to the tarot. What do we have for Isomeris Venus on the highest possible outcome for the next 6 months? I love it where Spirit says, you know exactly what to do. You have the answers. Rest assured that you will conquer any of those obstacles. You know the solution. It takes time. So it's interesting that I saw that too. And it feels like it's something difficult that happened in this eclipse season. It's solved by next eclipse season. Now, as far as the highest possible outcome, you have blossoming abundance. So we do see that wealth and prosperity will be greater. It will be higher in 6 months. We also have happy family. If there's anything going on in the home with family or with love, that can be resolved in the next 6 months too. So let's see what this is for Isomeris Venus. And if anyone would like a mini reading, feel free to Cash App or PayPal $10 to Goddess Energy 444. What do we have for Isomeris Venus on blossoming abundance, indecision, happy family, and you know what to do? For Isomeris, oh my gosh, does Vega run, like the last name run in your family? Your name does not say Vega at all. I almost said Isomeris Vega. Is there a Vega? Is it around in your family? Is it an ancestor? Maybe it doesn't have to be. Pay attention to that name. You may meet someone with the last name Vega, or it runs in your family, ancestors, something along those lines. What do we have for Isomeris Venus? And it doesn't run in my family either, so I'm just like, where did Vega come from? What do we have for Isomeris Venus on the highest possible outcome for the next 6 months? From the higher self, the guides, so maybe Venus. For Isomeris Venus, what is the highest possible outcome for the next 6 months? What is the highest possible outcome for Isomeris Venus for the next 6 months? What is the highest possible outcome for Isomeris Venus for the next 6 months? Why Two of Cups? So there seems to be a theme here of people or family members, or just like people in general. In the next 6 months, especially if there's been any conflicts in relationships, that can be solved. I see Ace of Wands. It says, I am a vessel for creativity and innovation. Okay, so this is you calling back your power. This is your creative power, your primordial power, your confidence, your, say, maybe spirit, your magic, all of this. We have the Ace of Wands, and then we have the Queen of Wands. Confidence and warmth radiates from me. The highest possible outcome is I do see this kind of glow up within and without, where, you know, the Ace of Wands, that's really your ashe. It's your life force energy. It's your chi, your ki. And so what I see is the highest possible outcome. Your relationships do improve. They are more positive. And you have this like glow up from within where like I'm just seeing a cleansing, clearing within you. But it shows without of you, where there's like a spark of vitality within you. But like, again, it's like a glow where people are just like, why is Isomeris glowing? You know, like you could just tell something's going on inside of her too. And that's what I'm seeing here. I'm going to grab just some clarifications. For Isomeris Venus on the highest possible outcome for the next 6 months, why Ace of Wands? Why Queen of Wands for the next 6 months for Isomeris? And then why Page of Wands and the Two of Cups for the next 6 months? Something could involve a Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. We have Knight of Swords here and Queen of Pentacles. It doesn't have to be, but it can. I see more grounded and stable relationships in the future. And I do see much more positivity in your personal relationships. Now, the next 6 months where you're supported. And that's what Spirit's saying. Whatever you're building or creating, it is supported. Ace of Wands and the Eight of Pentacles. So it's supported. Queen of Wands and the Temperance card. I create harmony. You know, sunflowers can resonate with you. Okay. Sunflowers over here. It's both of these here. And the next 6 months, like I see you also having this inner peace, but yet this strength. You know, where also like whatever's been bothering you on the inside, you know, or just bringing a lack of peace on the inside. And that's where me or anyone else is not going to know exactly what that was or is. But something happened for Isomeris Venus 6 months from now that she has peace on the inside and on the outside too. You know, and so whatever's been draining your energy, or taking your peace in 6 months, that's not going to exist, or it's not going to be taking away your energy or your peace. You're going to have the ability to attract a lot of things too, because there's just this glow up, this like yellow energy that surrounds you. So yeah, wealth and prosperity, whatever you're working on, I see it supported. I see you feeling more at peace inside your heart and yourself, and it turning into a glow up. And then your relationships are more positive with the Page of Wands over here. All right, we'll close this out over here. What do we have for Isomeris? What do we have for Isomeris Venus on advice for this reading? I love it. Ace of Pentacles and the Star card, and you have the High Priestess over here. So just following your intuition, but the Star card, I am inspired. Ace of Pentacles, new opportunities and abundance are on the way to you. So you have a glow up in the next 6 months. That's the highest possible outcome in all areas of life, especially like it's a big change within. And I see you truly happy. And then the Star card, having hope, faith, and trust over here, because that's what I see coming in for you. All right. So I hope that resonates. Let me know how that resonates. I'm going to look at the comments here too. Let's see. Hecate is calling me strongly. Trying to find a daily routine to work with your shadow self. Yeah, Hecate. I love Hecate. I don't connect with all like Greek gods or goddesses. Not Greek as much. I do connect with some. For me, it's like Hermeticism, a lot of the African traditions, Hinduism. And for those who watch me, like, you know, the main lineages that I work with and connect with, I connect with a few different. I have connected with Hecate. I've actually been through initiations with Hecate. But I don't connect as much to the Greek mythology. Hades, though, Hades chose me as a child, and that's another story for another day. But everybody and I'm talking more spirit guides and spirit teams, everybody has to make room for Hades. So anyways, Hecate, you can always do like a shadow journal. So even me, myself, I have a black journal that I call my shadow journal. And I only write like my shadows in there. So you could always, or purple for Hecate. You could always do a journal that you decorate for her, and you only write your shadows in that journal, and say maybe it's before you go to bed at night, or in the morning time too, you know, whatever resonates. You could always do that as like a daily routine, and that could be very beneficial. Oh, 144 came out on the lottery on Thanksgiving. I didn't play it. The screen is stretched. I'm not sure. I'm trying to think of like the screen is stretched. It could be also because I'm in this. If I go live, we have to go like up front, and it probably tries to like expand it too. I have struggled to find my purpose. I would love to do so many things, cannot fix one for now or one in my next step. Do you have any? I've struggled to find my purpose. I would love to do so many things, cannot fix one for now or my next step. Do you have any thoughts on this? Start with like the first little things. Sometimes too, like it could be like anxiety provoking, where it's so many things to like focus on. I gotta fix this, I gotta fix that, and fix that. And then our body goes, or our nervous system goes into freeze, where then we end up doing nothing. And then life just kind of stays the same. Pick like one thing to focus on and work on first. And that's what I do, where it's like, I got a lot of things that I have to like focus on and fix and this and that. Finding just one thing for now to fix that one thing first. You know, like say, for example, there's so many things to fix, but I drink 4 cups of coffee today. I'm going to start off, you know, every day. I'm going to start off by reducing that to 1 or 2, focusing on that. And then I get to the other things, right? Or like filling out, I don't know, court paperwork, right? Where that's just like a lot in itself. I'm going to get this done, and I'm going to get it done. But sometimes our bodies go into like freeze, right? When it comes to so many things that we need to get done, and then we just end up not doing anything. And so starting off with that one thing and committing to that one thing, whatever it is, and then that opens doorways to everything else it is that we need to change. LOL, that's my name. Vega, is that what you were talking about? I remember mentioning Vega. Hope you are well, please. I'm just going to make sure too that nobody sent anything here. I'm going to be going to pick up now my little one in just about 5 minutes. So we'll get we're going to get in that collective, oh no, like 10 minutes. So let's get in that collective reading. 10, 15 minutes. Thank you. You're welcome. And if anyone would like a reading, feel free to email me. So if you ever don't catch the live for the mini reading, just email me. Let's go home 7777@gmail.com. And usually if you email me, I'll still do the reading, you know, so just feel free to email or just I go live impromptu. So I would love to say like, catch me on Wednesday. Put on the notification bell. Again, I was sharing that like it's really my son though, that, he needs a lot of care. He's on the spectrum, getting older. So a lot of things have changed for him. So I'll go live when I do go live, which is why I say put on the notification bell. Hello, Erin. How are you? Yes. Thank you, Elijah. Oh, let's go home 7777. So 47s@gmail.com. All right. Let's get in this collective reading. Let's do it. We have like 15 minutes, so let's do it. On creating a soul-aligned reality, because that's what this whole video was about. Creating a soul-aligned reality. All right, so we're going to tap in. Feel free to tap in wherever you are, whoever you are. And as I'm tapping in, though, it really feels like we're opening up a door. Okay, let's tap in and open up that door to a new, higher, or soul-aligned reality. All right, thank you, Elijah. I'm going to pin that. I appreciate you so much. So let's see what is coming in when it comes to manifesting and creating that new reality for the light workers for the 144,000. What is coming in? What is coming in for the light workers, the chosen ones, the 144,000? What is coming in? Oh, Jesus. Jesus is coming. Jesus is coming. I find that really funny. But creating a soul-aligned reality, that's your heaven on earth. So I love that, actually. And it was at 111. Jesus is coming, everybody. Jesus is coming. We have healer of the ages, and we have door to romance here. Okay, so there's a higher love coming in. When we're talking about 144,000 chosen ones, could be a twin flame message. It doesn't have to be. I think of Magdalene and Yeshua. You have a higher love, and it could still be platonic or romantic, soul-aligned reality. You have a soul-aligned soulmate coming in. Okay, this is a soulmate, not a karmic soulmate. What do we have for the light workers, the chosen ones, the 144,000 that is out there? Why door to romance and healer of the ages for creating a soul-aligned reality? Why Jesus Christ, Yeshua, Yahweh, and door to romance for creating a soul-aligned reality? Mary Magdalene, no way. Jose. Okay. All right, collective. I know I said 15 minutes, but you have Jesus and Mary Magdalene out right away for the chosen ones of creating a soul-aligned reality and door to romance. Oh, sweet baby Jesus. Okay? Listen, Linda, listen. Door to romance with roses. Mary Magdalene, sacred marriage. Jesus Christ. Jesus. And 33. Chosen ones, ancient souls, 144,000. You have a partnership that is coming in that is soul aligned. Okay, this is your kingdom spouse. Your kingdom spouse is coming in. This is your twin flame. This is your, and that's coming from me, okay? That I'm the tarot reader, that I don't enjoy twin flame stuff, just from more of like the cheesy part of things, new agey, where it doesn't serve. This is a true twin flame reading. Truly. Mary Magdalene, Jesus, door to romance. As far as creating a soul-aligned reality, I'm going to just say these words too. You deserve a love that reflects heaven on earth. I'm hearing the song by, I forgot his name, but I'm hearing the song, Your Presence is Heaven to Me. You are attracting in your soul-aligned reality a love, a partnership that is soul-aligned, that is heaven. This is your highest timeline. You can attract a lover that is of your highest timeline. So let's see what this is. Sweet baby Jesus Christ. Why do we have Mary Magdalene, sacred marriage, and Jesus Christ? Soul flame, Radha, voice of truth. Rediscover a lost part of yourself. Experience relationship harmony and healing. The king is here. Oh, don't give me chills. You give me chills. Rowdy, the king is here. Here, truly. No, the king and the queen. No. Yes, the king is here. Jesus is coming. But this reading is also bigger. We're like, yes, it's your soul aligned reality, but this is union. The union of the masculine and the feminine. So this could be without of you, it could be within you. This is so much than just Jesus returning. This is the truth returning. And that's what I'm hearing for people, and I'm just channeling, but we speak of Jesus returning, but what if Jesus returned with Magdalene? That would be the true return, right? And again, I'm just channeling right now, where we have soul flame. You are attracting, again, you're creating your own reality. You are successfully attracting a soulmate, a higher level soulmate, a kingdom spouse. For some of you, a twin flame, but a twin flame contract that you're not going back and forth. Like they're coming in to stay. You're attracting the love of your dreams, the love of your highest Akashic record, so contracts. Why do we have Mary Magdalene and Jesus Christ? Life cycles, energy, healing, communication. But interesting, we have the Heros Gamos. Heros Gamos is the union of God and Goddess. It's the rites, right? Mystery school, there would be like a Heros Gamos ritual, right? I'm going to grab some of these. What do we have for the... Someone misses you. Oh, my sweet baby Jesus Christ. I just came off of twin flamed. I dumped his ass so fast. Yeah, I'm not in contact with my twin flame. I did have a physical twin flame. And I only say that because I would say the word twin flame after months of separation. And in that moment, they would text me out of nowhere. There was one time where I was like, God, really? I said out loud after months of separation, that is not my twin flame. I'm not claiming that. Text me a mirror, just a mirror out of nowhere. I'm like, all right, God, I'm just not going to deny it anymore. Someone misses you here. For the chosen ones, creating a soul-aligned reality. I didn't want to make this a love reading, but we got Mary Magdalene and Jesus. For the chosen ones, the 144,000, creating a soul-aligned reality. Why do we have Mary Magdalene and Jesus? Why do we have Mary Magdalene and Jesus? Why do we have Mary Spirit Baby? Oh, gosh. I'm saying that because the reading is it's really good. Everything's coming in, but... My brother, Code Searcher. Hello, Joseph. How are you? Spirit Baby. Oh, your Spirit Baby is making sure that this union happens. This is a very high vibrational union. You could be seeing the number 33. We have 333 and 33 here. We have Jesus, Yeshua, and we have Mary Magdalene. Door to romance and Radha, soul flame, and Spirit Baby. You're creating a soul-aligned reality, and what you do need to hear is that person exists. And I know that some of us have said this for years, where it's like, okay, 5 years now, still waiting for that divine masculine or feminine to come in. 6, 7, 10. It's really going to happen. And so just for some of you, again, like we were talking about in the beginning of this video, start that routine, start your self-care that reflects the higher timeline. You have the love of your life. You have a kingdom spouse, a love of a lifetime. This is a Mary Magdalene Yeshua, which there was a lot that happened in that timeline though, but you have this coming in for you. It's that caliber of love. And so, what does life look like if this person were to come in? How would you take care of yourself if this person were to come in? And so it's like, even though they're not here yet, waking up every day and getting ready as if you were waking up next to someone, right? Or this or that, which they should just like love your natural self too and all that stuff, but, where it's like, you're going to take keep up with your self-care and this and that, why do we have Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and Door to Romance? Oh, sugar, honey, iced tea. Why Mary Magdalene, Jesus? You have a past life with them. And for some of you, twin flames. We have Tower right here. This is protected. And I will say for some of you, even if you don't know who this person is, if you haven't met them yet, the fact that this will happen is protected. And so just becoming that frequency of who that lover may be, because it's protected, it's coming in. You have a lover in the future. So this is the future. You're creating a soul-aligned reality. And I was trying to think of everything else but love, but no, you have a lover coming in. This is high caliber. This is higher love. Whitney Houston, higher love. This is Jesus, Mary Magdalene type of love. Through all time and space, no one can separate. You can make a whole religion and you still couldn't separate them or hide the truth. The love that's coming in for you, nothing and no one can break it. We have Tower right over here. It's very protected, and part of the reason is there's a spirit baby that's involved here. So let's see what this is. All right. For the chosen ones, on creating a soul-aligned reality where you are getting some soul-aligned love. For the chosen ones today, why do we have Radha, soul flame, Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and door to romance? For the chosen ones today, on creating a soul-aligned reality. Why do we have Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and door to romance? Why Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and door to romance? Why do we have Tower right here for the chosen ones today? Yeah, that you are very protected. So this came out for Tower, very protected. Yeah, well, also, like, say, for example, say you're already married, right? You could always see this as, it's like sometimes people say twin flame, and it can be, but it could be the dynamic where, relationships change and the versions of us change too. And so whenever, I've thought about that too before, like people who are just happily married, like what are you doing with all the love readings and things like that? Exploring that deeper part of your partner, right? Like exploring it even deeper, or this or that. That's how I always see like some of the readings too. Where I've said this before, if you're in a happy relationship, do not meet a twin flame and then just don't do that, or try not to do that. That can be very karmic. I saw that happen once. Very happy relationship, many children in the relationship, leaves it, and then a lot of karmic stuff happened. Mary Magdalene, Jesus, door to romance. For the chosen ones out there today, why do we have Mary Magdalene, Jesus, and door to romance? Why the Hanged Man? Why 10 of Swords here? Why the Chariot card here? Now, why the Chariot card for the chosen ones on door to romance? There's more fish where that came from, is what I'm hearing. 8 of Pentacles here. You're creating a soul-aligned reality, but you haven't been through, I'm just channeling again. You haven't had the best experiences in life. Now, for some of you, not all of you, some of you have physically lost a past partner, where like your partner physically passed. And for that, I just want to also give my condolences. I'm feeling it. 777 as I say that. So for some of you, you've experienced something like that, or a lot of trauma in relationships. Hangman, 2 of Swords. 4 of Cups, the 10 of Swords. And remember that this reading in general was of creating a soul-aligned reality. It doesn't matter how much trauma or how much like bad luck and misfortune that you have experienced in love and romance. Mary Magdalene did too. She watched him. And we won't get into Sarah, the blue rose, that they had a daughter named Sarah. Sarah was the holder of the blue rose. There's that too of, what happens when your partner dies and you have to raise a child alone. The story is that Sarah continued Yeshua's legacy, but he was not present for her. What about his own daughter? What about watching your lover be crucified and you knew it was going to happen and you couldn't do anything to stop it? And in your mind's eye, right? And I'm just like, this, I think that is higher love, right? Mary Magdalene, For anyone who feels like they have never experienced real love or only experienced traumatic love, you have the ability to create a soul-aligned reality where people love and respect you, and love is soft and safe. Where Mary Magdalene experienced so many terrible things, like grief, the shadow with Jesus. We glorify this relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. It was nothing, it was far from glorious. You know, it was far from glorious, you know, that Mary Magdalene, she had to be in silence with him. His own disciples would constantly berate her, yet she was washing his feet. She didn't get the credit that she deserved, even though she was a big part of his mission. She waited by the tomb for him, and he walked right by her and said, "Don't touch me." You would never want your lover to put themselves on a cross, and he still did it. You know, or like you think of, you know, again, we in online, we glorify these twin flame stuff and et cetera, creating your own reality. This is the reality that they faced. It was duality. Yes, I'm just channeling, but Jesus and Mary Magdalene became masters of duality, of the fourth density, of the fifth density, bridging into the sixth density. They experienced so much hardship. She watched him on that cross, and he very well could have chosen, and he did not choose with his free will, and she didn't let him. She watched him and observed and honored Jesus, Yahweh's free will of going on that cross, knowing that he was choosing God's will. He was. But if we think of modern day dating and relationships, when we see our partner choosing God's will, but it's not what we want, do we fight with them? Do we have like, "Oh, but you don't love me"? Mary Magdalene could. They say that Mary Magdalene was pregnant during the resurrection. If we think of modern dating, well, how could you do that when you know I'm pregnant? Anyone would say that. I would probably say that, right? If like, "I'm pregnant, what are you doing?" And so we glorify this relationship between Jesus and Mary. They were human too. And it feels like that's the channel that wants to come through today, where Mary Magdalene is coming through and channeling of, you know, I experienced so much trauma actually with Jesus. You know, to watch him go like your lover and this and that is all very traumatic, right? From like looking at it from that realistic perspective and not glorifying it. And the message coming through today is from Jesus and Mary Magdalene. You want to create a soul-aligned reality. It doesn't matter what you've been through. Hangman, 2 of Swords. 4 of Cups, 10 of Swords. What Spirit is saying is there is love coming in. If we are creating a new reality or soul-aligned reality where love is experienced softer and differently, it's to shift our perspective, right? Where, you know, I've experienced love in these ways, in these traumatic ways, but I don't have to anymore. The story can change. Love can feel soft and safe. And I'm seeing a big awakening that shifts the mind. And that is actually what brings in your lover. 10 of Swords and then the 4 of Cups, where trauma is sometimes the weapon, right? 444 as I say that, and it's 44 members in the chat. Where, like, again, say like someone who has been, say, cheated on a lot, right? Betrayed a lot in that sense. Then you adopt the idea and the belief that, well, all men are this, all women are this. And then you attract exactly that, false evidence appearing real, and you're attracting what you don't want because you believe that so strongly. And again, this does have to do with creating your own reality, the law of mentalism, whatever we believe strongly. And so in love, what I actually see for you here today, chosen one, is an entirely different mind shift is bringing in a confirmation honk, a brand new lover. This love is in alignment with God's will. It's balanced. It's softer than what you've previously experienced. A 10 of Swords situation will change the mind to think that that's my value, that's my worth, or that's my reality. And no, it's not. Your reality is not traumatic love. It can be soft love. Why the Queen of Cups? Why 2 of Cups? Oh no. No, oh no, in a bad way. Ace of Swords, Ace of Cups. The truth is you could experience love that is healthy, that is soft, that is safe. Ace of Swords, that's your truth. Ace of Cups, I am loved. And that's what you're receiving in your new or higher reality that you create. So for those of you who are single, which I will, in the age of discretion and all of that, I have been single for almost 7 years. But I will say, as far as like dating wise, the only thing that has been in my way is more of just, it's not aligned. But they're amazing people. Healthy, no one's perfect, but I don't attract at all. And again, I'm single. I'm not dating, well, yeah, trying to. Anyways, when you're single, you can attract completely different people. And although I'm not going to preach to you or speak to you from a place of like, I'm in union and I know exactly what I'm talking about, where I'm single. But what I will share honestly with you is the people that I attract as far as dating, an entirely different energy, entirely different people, entirely. The old story that I had, say due to trauma, family, whatever it was, I do not attract dating like that at all. They don't even come my way, the type of things I used to deal with. Why? Because energetically and frequency wise, I reject that energy, right? When you're like firm in your truth, it will energetically reject that of which is not in alignment. And so for the most part, people like, they don't even try it, like as far as like dating or things like that. My story has changed. And again, I'm not coming here with the story of like, hey, I'm in sacred union and this and that, but even dating is a whole different story. It's so healthy, it's safe, no expectation, all of that different stuff, right? So life has completely changed in that way. And one day we'll be in sacred union. But for those of you who are, maybe you're in a relationship right now, and what Spirit is saying is, hey, like duality, where, we don't feel unhappy comparing, say your relationship to Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene, where they dealt with actually 10 times more than you dealt with, I don't think either of them were dealing with infidelity, but they dealt with a lot, so like if it's not easy in your relationship, it feels like what Spirit is saying here, Mary Magdalene too, especially, but and Jesus of like, well, it was not easy for us, but we held on. And then if you are single, you can completely change what you attract. And again, I'm not gonna like lie and say that I'm coming from a place of I'm in sacred union. Let me tell you all about it, but I will say I have completely changed what I attract as far as dating. Absolutely, completely. The only reason why, say, dating hasn't turned into a relationship of where it's like just not aligned with my spiritual path. And that's the only thing that's been in the way. Everything else, perfect. It's not completely in alignment, and not that you even have to like be like that. I'm someone that I really do want God's will, like that's why I have this tattooed here. It represents God's will or my highest path, higher self, things like that. So, but yeah, that's what this reading is saying. You can have the love of a lifetime. You can have a love that is completely soul aligned. And we have Jesus and Mary Magdalene that came out to tell you that too. And also to debunk, it feels like a few different myths of like, well, to be quite honest, YouTube tarot or online spirituality, we glorify this twin flame relationship, and it is twin flame, but we glorify it between Magdalene and Jesus. It was quite, and I want to use the words almost terrible, where Mary Magdalene is a death and rebirth priestess. She mastered death, Mary Magdalene. Sometimes just through the witnessing of her own lovers' death, and so, in a high vibrational connection, you're going to have it all. You're going to transcend duality. And I will say, if anything, Mary Magdalene and Jesus, they were that, say, perfect couple because they mastered duality together. And I think that's more of a realistic way to paint their picture. They mastered duality together. I want to have a good relationship with money, but seriously, so put that out there. I'm attracting a healthy, good relationship that is secure in all ways. And that's okay. Put it out there. Yes, twin flames. Oh, they can be, where twin flames, it's just so much shadow that comes into it too. But again, like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, it's interesting, this reading, because it even shifts my perspective a little bit. Where are they really a dream relationship? His disciples and friends were terrible to her. Terrible. They didn't respect her. She watched him. Like, this is a lot of sacrifice in both of their connection, like both sides. So it's very interesting. I do feel like, again, this is a message for those that are already in a union. Mary Magdalene and Jesus were not a perfect picture. We just paint them to be. And so your union is perfect as it is. And unions are here to master duality. They're not here to be perfect. And then if you're single, right, because this whole thing is about creating your own reality. If you're single, you can and will attract a whole different caliber, a whole different timeline of people to date. And it can completely change for you, truly. And again, the law of mentalism, where, like I said, of like, change your mindset. It's not always that, but if you don't have the law of mentalism, we don't get anywhere, so that's what I have for you. I do hope that it resonates in a positive way over here. I know I had 15 minutes, but I needed to stretch that to like 20. I can't have Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene come out and then I just like leave it off on a cliffhanger over here. So I'm sending you all so much love, so many blessings. Remember that there is a coupon code for the Black Friday, for the week of Black Friday, until this Friday, 12/5, 22% off for Timeline Jump. Go use that coupon code on the website, 144bluerosetemple.com. Patreon members, remember that you get free access for all workshops. And if you go to Patreon Blue Rose Mystery School right now, it's 45% off for an entire year. So you get a whole year off of Patreon for half off. And that's 24 rituals a year. Astrology updates every week. Access to every single workshop, So for maybe 100 or so, I don't even know what it is, of like the half off. It depends what tier it is that you get. Even if a workshop is $99, if you're a Patreon member, you get in for free. So you could potentially save $500 or more for a whole year by going to the Patreon. But just thank you for being here. As always, we'll keep on going live as well. Again, Boundless But Boundaries led me to come here to just share a few things too on creating your soul-aligned reality. It is possible. All right, and it's your birthright. All right. I will be here tomorrow for all signs. We did Pisces today. So tomorrow it's going to be all signs, the ancient souls. And maybe we'll be able to go live for not water signs, because we did water signs. Earth signs or fire signs. Let's see. All right. But blessings to you. Yes, blessings to you, Venus Queen, Isomeris. Hello, Emmanuel. Thank you, Elijah. Thank you for being here always. I appreciate you and being a moderator. And he's also just my soul brother in person too. So I love you. Awesome. Isomeris, I am manifesting financial abundance through plant medicine. I love it. Yeah. And like, again, abundance is energy. I was just telling a soul sister this too, that she got the abundance to attend something that had to do with plant medicine. If you're meant to be somewhere, the universe will conspire for you to be there, to have it, whatever it is. All right. Mm-hmm. You have a good night too, Kiana's. Yes, I'm now going to go pick up my little one. All right. I'm sending you all so much love, infinite blessings to you. Bye for now.